There was a time in my life when money felt tight all the time. Not just sometimes, but constantly. I was living in Canada, trying to build something for myself, but my income was low and my expenses didn't care. Rent was there every month. Bills were waiting. Groceries kept getting more expensive. And no matter how carefully I tried to manage everything, it always felt like I was one step behind. I wasn't living a luxurious life. I wasn't overspending on fancy things. In fact, I was already trying to be careful. But even then, saving money felt almost impossible. I would look at my bank account and think, how do people actually save thousands of dollars here? How do they reach $50K, or even $100,000? It felt so far away, like something only high earners could achieve. There were moments of frustration. Moments where I felt stuck. Like I was working hard, doing everything I was supposed to do, but still not moving forward fast enough. And that feeling can be heavy. It makes you question yourself. It makes you wonder if maybe this is just how life is going to be. But deep down, I didn't want to accept that. I knew I wanted more. Not just more money, but more control. More freedom. I didn't want to live paycheck to paycheck forever. I didn't want to stress every time an unexpected expense showed up. I wanted to feel secure. I wanted to feel like I was actually building something. And even though things were difficult, I held on to that idea. That maybe, just maybe, there was a way forward. That maybe I didn't need a perfect situation to start. Maybe I could figure it out with what I already had. So I kept going. I kept trying. Even when progress felt slow. Even when it didn't feel like it was working right away. Because something inside me refused to give up on the possibility that my situation could change. At the beginning, the journey didn't feel exciting at all. It felt slow, really slow. Like no matter how much effort I was putting in, the results were barely visible. I would save a little money, and then something would come up, a bill, an expense, something unexpected, and it would wipe out that progress instantly. It was frustrating. Some days, it honestly felt like I was running in circles. Working, saving, trying again, but not really moving forward. And when you're in that phase, it's easy to lose motivation. Because you don't see big wins. You don't see instant results. All you see is small numbers that don't seem to grow fast enough. I remember checking my savings again and again, hoping to see a big jump, but it was always small. Just tiny increases that didn't feel life-changing. And in those moments, doubt starts creeping in. You start thinking, is this even worth it? Is all this effort going to lead somewhere? It's even harder when you look around and see other people doing better. People buying cars, traveling, upgrading their lifestyle. And there you are, saying no to things, trying to be disciplined, and still feeling behind. That comparison can drain your energy. It can make you feel like you're missing out on life while others are enjoying it. But what most people don't see is the quiet phase. The slow phase. The phase where nothing looks impressive from the outside, but everything is being built on the inside. That's the part no one talks about. This journey tested my patience more than anything else. It forced me to stay consistent even when it didn't feel rewarding. To keep going even when the progress was almost invisible. And that's not easy. It takes real effort to show up every day, make the right choices, and trust a process that isn't giving you quick results. There were times I wanted to quit. Times I thought maybe I should just relax, spend more, and stop stressing about saving so much. But something inside me kept pushing me forward. A small belief that if I stayed consistent long enough, things would eventually start to change. At some point, I realized something important. I couldn't just keep going blindly. I needed to understand what was actually working and what wasn't. Because I was putting in effort, I was trying to save, I was being careful, but the results were still slow. And that made me curious. I started asking myself simple questions. What are people doing differently? How are some people actually reaching $100,000 while others stay stuck for years? Is there something I'm missing? Because it didn't make sense. It couldn't just be luck. There had to be a smarter way to do this. That curiosity changed everything. Instead of just saving randomly, I began paying attention. I started noticing patterns in my own behavior. Where my money was really going. What actually made a difference, and what didn't. And slowly, I began to see that not all efforts are equal. Some things barely move the needle, while others can completely change your financial situation. And that's when things started to click. I realized that the journey to $100,000 isn't about doing everything, it's about doing the right things. The things that actually create impact. The things that save you real money, not just a few dollars here and there. And once I saw that, I couldn't unsee it. I started looking at my life differently. Every expense, every decision, every habit. I questioned it. Not in a stressful way, but in a curious way. Like a puzzle I wanted to solve. I wasn't just trying to save anymore. I was trying to figure out the system behind saving. And the more I learned, the more confident I became. Because for the first time, it didn't feel like I was just hoping things would work out. It felt like I was getting closer to understanding how it actually works. Like I was finally uncovering the hidden rules that most people never talk about. And that's what made me excited. Because I knew, if I could figure this out, then reaching $100,000 wasn't just a dream anymore. It was something real. Something possible. As I started learning more, I also started noticing something surprising. A lot of what people say about saving money just isn't completely true. Or at least, it's not the full picture. You hear the same advice everywhere: stop buying coffee, cut small expenses, use coupons, save every little dollar. And yes, those things can help, but they're not the reason someone reaches $100,000. For a long time, I believed those ideas. I thought if I just tried harder, cut more, and became more strict with every tiny expense, I would eventually get there. But the truth is, focusing only on small savings can make you feel busy without actually making real progress. You end up putting all your energy into things that don't really change your financial situation in a big way. And that realization hit me hard. Because it made me see that I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was just focusing on the wrong things. I was trying to win the game, but I didn't even know the real rules. And once I understood that, everything started to shift. Another big myth I believed was that you need a high income to save big money. I used to think, once I start earning more, then I'll save more. But that mindset keeps you waiting. It keeps you stuck. Because income alone doesn't guarantee savings. There are people earning a lot, and still living paycheck to paycheck. And then there's the idea that you have to suffer to save money. That you have to cut out all joy, say no to everything, and live a life that feels restricted and boring. That belief makes the whole journey feel heavy. It makes saving feel like punishment instead of progress. But I started to see that none of this had to be true. Saving money isn't about being extreme. It's not about removing everything you enjoy. And it's definitely not about waiting for the perfect situation. It's about understanding what actually moves you forward, and letting go of what doesn't. And once I let go of those old beliefs, it felt like a weight was lifted. Like I wasn't fighting against money anymore. I was finally starting to understand it. That's when my entire mindset started to shift. I stopped thinking about money as something I had to restrict, and started seeing it as something I could manage with intention. It wasn't about cutting everything out of my life. It was about making smarter choices in the areas that actually mattered. I realized that being frugal doesn't mean being cheap. It doesn't mean saying no to everything or living a life that feels empty. It means being selective. It means knowing where your money makes a real difference, and where it doesn't. Instead of stressing over every small expense, I began to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Because the truth is, saving a few dollars here and there feels good, but it doesn't change your life. What really changes your life are the bigger decisions. The ones that impact your finances every single month. And once I understood that, everything became clearer. I started focusing on the expenses that were quietly draining most of my money. The things I used to ignore or accept as normal. And instead of trying to control everything, I focused on controlling the right things. It felt different. It felt powerful. Because now, I wasn't just reacting to my finances. I was taking control of them. I was making decisions with purpose. Every choice had a reason behind it. Every adjustment was moving me forward. And the best part was, it didn't feel like a struggle anymore. I wasn't forcing myself to live a life I hated. I wasn't constantly feeling deprived. Instead, I found a balance. A way to still enjoy my life while staying committed to my goal. That's something most people don't realize. You don't need to suffer to save money. You just need to be smart about it. And once you start making smarter decisions in the right areas, the results start to feel real. You begin to see progress. You feel momentum building. And for the first time, saving money doesn't feel like a burden, it feels like a strategy. And this is the part where everything became real for me. I started to believe that if I could do it, then maybe you can too. Because there was nothing special about my situation. I didn't have some huge advantage. I wasn't earning an insane income. I didn't have a perfect plan from the beginning. I was just someone trying to figure things out, just like you. And that's what makes this so powerful. Because it means you don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You don't need to wait until your income doubles. You don't need to wait until everything in your life is perfectly organized. You can start from where you are, with what you have. I know how it feels to look at your bank account and think it's not enough. I know how it feels to feel behind, to feel like others are moving faster. But the truth is, everyone's journey looks different. And your starting point doesn't decide your ending. What really matters is the direction you choose. The moment you decide to take control, even in a small way, things begin to shift. It might not feel big at first. It might feel like nothing is changing. But those small decisions, they start adding up. And slowly, you begin to see something different. You feel more in control. More aware. More confident. You're not just reacting to money anymore, you're guiding it. And that feeling, it's powerful. Because once you realize that you have the ability to change your situation, everything becomes possible. That number, $100K, it stops feeling like something far away. It starts feeling like something you're moving toward, step by step. And I want you to understand this deeply, you are not stuck. You are not behind forever. You are not incapable. You're just one decision away from starting a completely different path. And when I finally started seeing progress, something inside me completely changed. It wasn't just about the money anymore. It became about belief. The belief that I could actually build something stable for myself. The belief that I didn't have to stay stuck in the same place forever. That I could grow, step by step, even if I started small. Every time I made a better financial decision, I felt a small win. Every time I saved a little more, I felt a little more confident. And slowly, those small wins started building something much bigger inside me, hope. Because hope is powerful. When you start believing that change is possible, you stop feeling helpless. You stop feeling like life is just happening to you. Instead, you start feeling like you are part of it. Like you have a role in shaping your future. And that is exactly what happened to me. I stopped seeing myself as someone who was just trying to survive. And started seeing myself as someone who was building something. Something better. Something stronger. Something that could grow over time. The journey didn't become perfect. I still had challenges. I still had moments where things felt slow or uncertain. But I wasn't discouraged the same way anymore. Because I could see the direction I was moving in. And that made all the difference. Even on difficult days, I kept going. Even when progress felt slow, I didn't stop. Because I knew now that every small step mattered. Nothing was wasted. Every dollar saved, every smart decision, every sacrifice, it was all adding up in ways I couldn't see immediately. And that's what most people miss. They expect fast results. They expect everything to change quickly. But real change is quiet. It builds slowly. And then one day, you look back and realize how far you've come. That's why I want you to understand this, your effort is not useless. Even if it feels small right now. Even if it feels like nothing is happening. It is building something inside your future that you cannot see yet. And if you keep going, if you stay consistent, if you keep making those small smart choices, one day you will look back and realize that you already changed your life.